The morning sun filtered through the kitchen window, casting golden squares across the linoleum floor. 7-year-old Emma sat at the small wooden table, carefully cutting purple construction paper into butterfly shapes. Her tongue poked out slightly in concentration, the way it always did when she was working on something important. Today was important. Very important. In 3 hours, her birthday party would begin. She had been planning it for weeks, drawing pictures of the decorations, practicing the games they would play, and making a list of all her friends from school. The purple butterflies were the final touch. She wanted to tape them to the living room walls so they would look like they were dancing in the air. But something was wrong. Emma's mother, Sarah, had been in bed for 2 days now. She had caught a terrible flu that left her weak and tired, barely able to lift her head from the pillow. Her face was pale, and dark circles shadowed her eyes. When she tried to speak, her voice came out as barely more than a whisper. Emma had watched other mothers at school pick up their children, laughing and chatting with each other. She had seen them at birthday parties, taking pictures and serving cake with bright smiles. She wanted that for her party, too. She wanted her mommy to be there, healthy and happy, helping her blow out the candles. As Emma worked on her butterflies, she heard footsteps on the front porch. Through the window, she could see a tall man in a dark coat walking up to their door. He had kind eyes and graying hair, and he carried a small wrapped box under his arm. The doorbell rang. Emma set down her scissors and walked to the door. She stood on her tiptoes to look through the peephole, then slowly opened it, keeping the chain lock attached like her mother had taught her. "Hello," the man said gently. "I'm Mr. Peterson from down the street. I heard there might be a birthday party here today." Emma nodded, opening the door a little wider. "It's my party. I'm 7 now," she paused, looking down at her shoes. "But I don't think anyone will come?" "Why not?" Mr. Peterson asked, crouching down to be at her eye level. Emma's lip trembled slightly. "Because Mommy's sick. She can't help me get ready, and she can't talk to the other mommies and daddies. She's been in bed for 2 whole days." She looked up at him with worried eyes. "I think the other kids won't want to come if their parents think Mommy is too sick." Mr. Peterson was quiet for a moment, thinking, "You know, Emma, I think you might be surprised. Sometimes when people are sick, it doesn't mean they can't still care about the people they love." Emma tilted her head, not quite understanding. "Would you like me to meet your mother?" he asked softly. Emma hesitated, then nodded. She led Mr. Peterson through the small house, past the kitchen with its half-finished decorations, past the living room where balloons hung limply from chairs, and down the hallway to her mother's bedroom. Sarah was lying in bed, covered with a thick quilt. Her hair was tangled, and tissues were scattered across the knitstand. When she saw the stranger, she tried to sit up, embarrassed. "Mom, this is Mr. Peterson," Emma said quietly. "He came for my party." Sarah's eyes widened with worry. "Oh, Emma, honey, I'm so sorry. I know I promised I would help you today, but I can barely—" Her voice trailed off as a coughing fit took over. Mr. Peterson stepped forward. "Mrs. Williams, I live just 3 houses down. Emma told me you've been unwell, and I wanted to see if there was anything I could do to help with the birthday celebration." Sarah looked at him with surprise and gratitude. "That's very kind, but I couldn't ask you to. You're not asking," he said with a warm smile. "I'm offering. And besides, I think Emma has something important to tell you." Emma climbed up onto the bed next to her mother, careful not to jostle her too much. She took her mother's pale hand in both of her small ones. "Mommy," she said, her voice very serious, "I know you're sick. I know you can't get up and help me hang the streamers or cut the cake, but you know what?" Sarah waited, her eyes growing misty. "I still want you at my party. Even if you have to stay in bed, even if you can only whisper. Because when I blow out my candles and make my wish, I want you to see it." Emma's voice grew stronger. "And I know that even though you're sick, you'll still smile for me, won't you?" Tears began to roll down Sarah's cheeks, but for the first time in days, the corners of her mouth turned upward in a gentle smile. "Oh, sweetheart, of course I will. I'll always smile for you." Mr. Peterson cleared his throat softly. "Well then, it sounds like we have a party to prepare for. Emma, why don't you show me where those decorations are?" I think we can move this celebration to wherever your mother will be most comfortable. For the next 2 hours, Emma and Mr. Peterson worked together. They moved the kitchen table next to Sarah's bedroom doorway. They hung the purple butterflies from the doorframe so they would flutter every time someone walked past. They arranged the chairs in a circle that included Sarah's bed so she could be part of everything even while lying down. When Emma's friends began to arrive, their parents were initially hesitant. But Mr. Peterson greeted each family at the door, explaining the situation with such warmth and kindness that soon the whole house was filled with understanding adults and excited children. Sarah, propped up on pillows and wrapped in her softest robe, watched from her bed as Emma played games with her friends. Her voice was still weak, but she cheered for every child, applauded every game winner, and when it came time for cake, she sang happy birthday in a whisper that somehow seemed to carry more love than any shout. When Emma blew out her 7 candles, she looked directly at her mother. Sarah's face, though still pale and tired, was radiant with the most beautiful smile Emma had ever seen. Later, after the guests had gone home and the decorations were cleaned up, Emma curled up next to her mother in the big bed. "Thank you, Mommy," she whispered. "For what, birthday girl?" "For smiling. Even when you didn't feel good, it made everything perfect." Sarah hugged her daughter close, feeling stronger than she had in days. Sometimes, she realized, the most important gifts we give aren't the ones that come wrapped in pretty paper. Sometimes they're as simple as a smile shared with someone we love. Outside, the evening stars began to twinkle, and in the small house on Maple Street, a mother and daughter fell asleep together, both smiling softly in their dreams.